Welcome to the podcast with wings, the TABtouch Greyhound Jet Set. Strap yourselves in while host David Shortte and the Shayne Train Williams take you on a flight around the country, sourcing winners and the latest news on the big two meetings in WA as well as the Meadows and Wentworth Park. The boys will be joined by East Coast experts Jaycin Campbel and Corey Smith. We'll pass on mail from some of WA's top kennels and get to know our industry members. You're at the pointy end of the plane for this week's edition of the TABtouch Greyhound Jet Set.
Hello and welcome along to the TABtouch Greyhound Jet Set podcast for another week. David Shortte and the Shayne Train Williams with you. He's back from his trip up to Darwin. He's looking all tanned up, still getting around in the shorts there. Hello, Train. Welcome back to Perth and welcome back to the Jet Set. How was it up there?
Yeah, it was very good, Shorty. Very good to be back in the chair. Tanned, I'm not sure about that, but very good trip, Shorty. Darwin, if you haven't been there, punters, it's an excellent trip. They got the two horse meetings and the greyhound meeting in the middle. Outstanding. Pumped into a few characters this year. Had a really good time, Shorty.
Sounds like a lot of fun. You're here in one piece, so that's a good sign. We'll catch up with, of course, later into the program, our regulars, Jaycin Campbel, also Corey Smith. Did you catch up with Corey up there?
Yeah, caught up with Corey a few times. We watched the Collingwood game on the Saturday night at the casino. It was a very rowdy crowd and great game of footy. Corey was biting his fingernails, but his team got the job done, so that was good for him.
Excellent. And, of course, Bonesy Harman will round it out with a look at the Darwin program. What's caught your eye, Train? What caught your eye either up there in Darwin or, of course, the Olympics have continued on. There's been plenty going on. What's caught your eye? Yeah,
well, what caught my eye, Shorty, this week was the young girl skateboarder from Australia, Arissa True, 14-year-old gold medalist. Outstanding, Shorty. Just the way that all the crew there got around her, all the girls that were in that competition, just so good to see. A shining light for Australia. What were you doing at 14-year-old, Shorty?
Lots of no good, but playing lots of cricket and going to high school, and that was about it. It was all about sort of spending the odd Friday night down at Mandurah, watching some of Dad's dogs go around. That was about the extent of it, Train, but lots of cricket and footy. That was about it.
Well, I've decided to come up this week, Shorty, to send a Greyhound Olympic team to the Olympics. I want you to choose your best 300-metre, 400-metre, 500-metre, 600-metre, 700-metre dog of all time, any state. I've got mine here as well, so we'll go one for one. What's your 300-metre dog you sent into the Olympics?
300-metre dog is one that has only, it's still fresh of mind. It won over 50 races over the short course. A dog by the name of Rollout was almost unbeatable for close to a year there at Cannington over the short trip. Week in, week out, just fronted up and got the job done. A winner of more than 50 races locally, Rollout.
I knew you were going to say that, Shorty. Mine is a dog called Lilith, a local hero trained by Eric Campana. So he can pack his bags and head to the Olympics with Lilith. 400
metres, I'm teaming up with an old-time favourite of mine, a chaser by the name of Car Park Keith. Keith Harding used to train this dog. Over the 400 metres there at Mandurah, it was close to unbeatable. It won, I think, close to 70 races in its lifetime. Car Park Keith, an absolute freak over the 400 metres. Oh, the train, he's just broken down here with a bit of someone's dropped a bit of pepper into the snort box.
My 400-metre dog, going to be a little bit biased here. Blackpool Flash, a dog I had over here for the Kenyan family in Victoria. He was 8 from 8 for me over here. One of the best beginners I've ever seen. Won the Birthday Cup going back a few years ago. So I'm going to be a little bit biased, Shorty, and pick back Blackpool Flash.
All right. Now, for the 500 metres, it depends on what the Olympic venue looks like. If it's an on-speed venue, then I'm going to team up with the fastest dog I ever saw over 500, which was Brett Lee. If it's a get-back run-on circuit, I'm teaming up with the greatest race dog I've ever seen over 500, which was Rapid Journey. So if it's a speed track, Brett Lee. If it's a run-on track, Rapid Journey.
My 500-metre dog, Shorty, one of the best I've ever seen, Flying Amy, Ron Ball-trained Queensland dog who was probably got me introduced to the sport. So used to just spear the leads and be off and gone. Flying Amy, one of the greatest.
All right, over the 600 metres, I'm going to go with a local in Flake Manelli. She was almost unleadable over this sort of trip, and once she led, you knew that she was going to be running close to record figures. Flake Manelli over the 600.
I'm taking Robert Britton and Tornado Tears to the Olympics. Absolute freak of the sport. Burnt track records up everywhere he went, and 600 metres was right in his wheelhouse.
All right, and 700 metres, there's only one dog. Paulie Stewart is coming as our travel partner, and Miata is coming as our representative because she was quite simply the greatest stayer we've ever seen here in WA, and I don't think the nation's seen as good as her as well. She was absolutely freaky.
No arguments with me. Paulie can turn left with Miata and get up the front of the plane, Shorty, and he'll lead us out with the gold medal.
Indeed. All right, that was good train. Nice to come up with our Olympic versions of 300, 400, 500, 600 and 700 metre representatives for the country. We'd love to hear from you. Hit up the train or myself on Twitter, or X as it's known these days, and we'd love to get some feedback and some thoughts from our listeners in regards to who you think should represent Australia in the Olympics over 300, 400, 500, 600 and 700 metres. Time now to roll up the sleeves and get into the form for a busy weekend of chasing. Train Mandurah Friday night, and an excellent card. The highlight of the program, the Express Stake. This is the second time the race has been run this year, and earlier in the year, a dog from your kennel won this race.
Yeah, the old boy. He paid for my business flights to Ireland, to be honest with you, Shorty.
Rip Tomahawk.
Yeah, he certainly did. He wound the clock back, speared out, and big odds too. I think about $23. So yeah, he's if there's any plumbers out there looking for a worker, you can come pick him up. He's decided to start digging everywhere he goes. Shorty's obviously getting a bit bored, so he's digging a lot of holes. So if there's any plumbers out there looking for a bit of lucky work, come see me.
Manual labour. He could be paying for himself all over again, digging holes, our man Rip Tomahawk, but he was a beauty. And tonight's final was a cracking affair as well. We've been left with some very talented 400-metre campaigners. Let's work through, though, your key plays for tonight's card, Shayne.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit of a tricky card tonight, Shorty. I'm not going in with a hell of a lot of confidence, but I'm going to kick it off race 2, number 5, Go Sonic. Dog trained by Chris Holes. First up for 4 months. Really looks a class above these dogs, Shorty. He has run 22-29 in the past, and that simply should be too good for this. He's very versatile, and I think he'll roll forward and be hard to beat. So we'll kick it off race 2, number 5, Go Sonic. We'll go on to race 8, number 1, Howard Hook. Look, I'm taking this dog on a little bit of trust. He's first up for 4 months. He's going to get an airport up along the rail, surely. As we know, the dog in 2 likes to head wide. He's a very fast dog when he gets things right. So hopefully he's on track tonight, nice and fresh. Obviously, the 8's going to be hard to beat. If it finds the front, it'll be all over. But I think I've seen $12 about number 1, Howard Hook, Shorty. So happy to play him each way. Race 8, number 1. And the very last play, Shorty, race 9, number 7, Go Seek Ariana. Trained by Damien Credelli. Bounced back to the winners list last week, speared out from box 5, and she's going to have to do that tonight from box 7. But it doesn't look to be a lot of pace in this race for mine, so I think she can roll forward. And a repeat of last week, Shorty, I think she'll salute and go back to back.
Race 2, number 5, Go Sonic. Race 8, number 1, Howard Hook. Race 9, number 7, Go Seek Ariana. Earlier this morning on Chasing Winners, Ryan Levitsky's 3 best bets. He'll be calling all of the action tonight there at Mandurah. Race 3, number 4, Armed for Action. Race 5, number 1, Drifter. And race 10, number 3, Ned. So 3, 4, 5, 1, 10, 3 for Ryan. Jesse Earnshaw. Race 1, number 4, ZZ Dawn. Race 7, number 5, Sunset Nightjar. And race 10, number 1, Long Johnny. 1, 4, 7, 5, 10, 1 for Jesse Earnshaw. For me, I'm going to team up with Sunset Peppy in the feature final there tonight, race 6, number 4. I love the way this dog's been going. We made it one of our best bets last week, and we were touching on that form through Spooky Hook, who, of course, was excellent through the short series. And Sunset Peppy beaten narrow margin in the heat, and again, a good run in the final of that series. Then fronts up here and was a 22-27 winner from a similar middle draw, I think, from box 4. Safe getaway for Sunset Peppy, likely to take a power of beating. On to race 8, number 8, Brute Banner. Look, this greyhound, it's gone right off here. So it was $2.90 this morning when the markets opened up, and it's been poleaxed. Now into odds on $1.85. It's had the 7 starts from box 8. It's won 6 of them. Its win last week was in sizzling fashion, 22-22, with room to move out wide on the track. I thought it'd take all of the beating. I am respecting number 5, Kenya Kraken. This dog has got a big motor. It was responsible for some very hot wins in town over the 520 metres. If it finds a top, it'll take some running down. I thought they looked a really good Quinella in the race. And the third of my plays is race 9, number 5, Balmerino. Now, this dog's going to need a little bit of luck in transit. It's not a bomb-proof beginner. It doesn't jump straight on the arm. It's likely to sit midfield, but one thing it does have is good field sense. It works its way through a field quite nicely, and it's got a paralysing finishing burst. This dog has run over middle distance its trips over on the East Coast. It's got a placing behind Kangaroo Jack prior to arriving, and it'll really wind up the last 150 to 200 metres of this race. Hopefully it sits close enough to cash in. So race 6, number 4, race 8, number 8 with a 5 and 8 Quinella, and race 9, number 5 are my key plays for this program tonight. Quaddie-wise, I've taken the field in the first leg. It's a field of just 7 runners. Anything could win it. It's wide open, that first leg. Second leg, numbers 3, 4 and 8. That's Apache Havoc, Sunset Peppy and Sandpatch. In the third leg, numbers 1, 3 and 5. That's Our Benson, Crumble Manelli and Sunset Nightjar. And in the final leg, just numbers 5 and 8, Kenya Kraken and Brute Banner. $126 for a full unit there. You can play, of course, the flexies to suit your budget. Train, have you got anything when it comes to roughies or indeed rovers out of this program while we're on this page?
My roughie tonight is West on Miley in the feature race. Surely we tipped her last week as a roughie. She ran third at a big price, so got that early speed. And in a race that's wide open, I think I've seen $11. So have a little small play on her, West on Miley. And my rover shorty is a dog tonight, race 3, number 4, Arm for Action. Now, I've got the 3 dog in this race, and she was just cut straight to the fence, so Arm for Action's going to get a lovely run. So I think we can rover him up and hope for a bit of rough around the placings.
All right, so race 6, number 6, West on Miley from a roughie perspective for the train, and looking for a rover. He's looking to team up with race 3, number 4, Armed for Action. They look pretty solid plays there tonight for the train. I'm going to keep my rover and also my roughie for the Saturday night Mandurah program this week, which now leads us into Saturday night Mandurah chasing, and it's another excellent card. 11 races up for debate for the punters to get involved with, and I thought that despite Northern being on last night, we've been left with some pretty nice races throughout the course of the night. Train, take us through your best plays.
Yeah, I'm going to kick it off early. Shorty, race 2, number 1, Hollywood Miss. Very impressive last week, this dog, having its first start, trained by Andrew McLaren. Run really hot section, Shorty. Moves from box 5 to box 1. Thought she'd be very hard to beat. Should strip a bit fitter as well, second up, and I think she's got a bit of a bright future, this one. Hollywood Miss, race 2, number 1. We'll go over to race 5, number 1, Hurricane Taylor. Been waiting for this dog to draw a box, Shorty. He's been drawing really awkwardly on that bend start, 488. Now comes into box 1. Is a bit of a veteran, and this is a hard race, so it's not going to be short odds. I think it'd be very good odds to play each way, and I think he'll really find his feet here off box 1 and get back into form. Very good dog trained by Eric Campana. Hurricane Taylor, happy to play him each way. And then we'll go over to race 6, number 2, Malfetta Cruz, who'll be my best bet for Saturday night. Look, Shorty, he stepped up to the 652, and he really got tired the last bit in both the heat and final. And you always have that in the back of your mind. You see dogs step up to 600 and back to 500, but the step up to 652 is a big, big step up, especially at Mandurah. Them long straights. There's no place to hide there. So I was really impressed with the way he went last week. Them sections, Shorty, 555, 1585. I don't know if I've seen them before. So 26.90 overall, going to be very hard to beat. He basically meets the same field here. It's the same box, and I think it'll be the same result, Shorty. So Malfetta Cruz, I think he's going to be very short, but he's going to be my best bet of the night on Saturday.
All right, yeah, it looks well placed there Saturday night. So the train 2-1-5-1-6-2 on a Saturday night. Ryan Levitsky there having a look at his key plays on the program. He's kicking things off race 6, number 4 in Inside Scoop, expecting it to improve back with a couple of runs under its belt. Race 7, number 2, Sand Cruiser, and race 9, number 4, Camposis Jr. So race 6, number 4, race 7, number 2, race 9, number 4 for Ryan Levitsky. Jess Aaronshaw, he's with us with race 2, number 1, Hollywood Miss, who looks a really, really good play here on a Saturday night. Just a rinse and repeat job far as I'm concerned for that particular affair. He's also liking race 5, number 2, Mustang Timmy. This dog's got a really big motor. It actually ran some cracking races at Cannington over the 520 metres in very fast times, and it's spent a bit of time away from the track, but it's back now firing on all cylinders and expected to go well. And Jesse's rounding it out there with race 11, number 1, Our Boy Doug, who was most impressive last week. Looks a put-in take-out job there in the last race on Saturday night. My key plays on the program, race 2, number 1, Hollywood Miss. Race 3, number 4, Kachis Attitude. Race 6, number 2, Molfetta Cruise. 2-1, 3-4, 6-2. They all looked really well placed. I thought it looked a very good night for the punters there on Saturday night. There's a few other races that I was quite keen to be involved with as well. I think the punters can expect a bit of a spoil there on a Saturday night. Very much a punter-friendly program. Now, Train, we charter you with the challenge of finding the quaddie there on a Saturday night at Mandurah. What have you come up with for this week?
Yeah, the Mandurah quaddie Saturday night. Shorty, we're going to play 1, 2, 5, 7, 8 in the first leg. We'll take 2-1 out in the second leg. Third leg, 1, 2, 4, 5. And then the final leg, 2, 5, 6, 7. $80 for a unit, Shorty.
All right, $80. That's 1, 2, 5, 7, 8. 2-1 out. 1, 2, 4, 5, 2, 5, 6, and 7. Have you got any roughies or rovers out of the Saturday night card?
Yeah, no, I didn't find any roughies or rovers on Saturday.
All right, so I'll go with Rover, race 5, number 1, Hurricane Taylor. I think whatever happens here, a dog that runs over a longer trip, there is speed like Spooky Hook and Little Bit Warped, Steel Girl, Mustang Timmy. They can all show speed. They could cross Hurricane Taylor, but even if that happens, Hurricane Taylor with the rails advantage is still going to be smashing the line. It won't miss the frame here. So Hurricane Taylor looks a great rover. Race 5, number 1, Hurricane Taylor. And from a value perspective on the program, I found it pretty challenging, to be honest. But later on in the program, there's a race there that I thought in race 8, anything could win it. So it's an affair that basically there's no markets out yet, but look, pinpoint this race and see if you can find something. There's going to be some big prices and you're not going to have to be Brett Lee to win the race. That was the race that I pinpointed as anything could happen this weekend. Thought there were some very, very plain performers that will be going around in that particular event. And one, do you reckon Premium Star will be double figure odds on Saturday night?
What box has it got?
Right, box 8.
Oh, I think it's well suited in 8. Yeah, it'd be around about $8 maybe.
All right, let's go with that as the lock-in. So free 8 Premium Star I had marked down as likely to be at a pretty reasonable price and can run a good race for you there on Saturday night. All right, let's now keep moving along on the program here on the Jet Set. We've got plenty still to come today, heading across to the East Coast as always to catch up with our man Jaycin Campbell, Corey Smith. We'll catch up with Corey White and Bones Harman as well. And of course, the Kennel Mail. We might do the Kennel Mail now, Train, while we're in the groove and we've got these boys on hand. I'll start with you and your Kennel Mail for this week. Anything from your camp that you think can run well for the punters?
Oh, I think we'll struggle this week, Shorty. Light on numbers. Like I said, I'm up to Northern tomorrow to trial a few, so maybe enjoyable tonight at Mandurah would probably be my best chance. She's drawn out where she wants to be. Does need to lead, though, to do her best, but, yeah, I'm clutching at straws, to be honest, Shorty, but yeah, a couple of dollars each way on her, I think. All
right, so Mandurah on Saturday night for man Lukey Townsend from the House Kennel. Of course, they'll be off with Weston Booney to represent the state, which is absolutely superb. Well done at first look on race night to go up to Northern and win that national WA version of the National Distance Championship to qualify. Was a really big performance there overnight. Lukey's come up with a couple for Saturday night. So the dog we just touched on, race 3, number 8, Premium Star, which is a dog that has got a fair bit of upside and should be a decent price. And he's also keen race 5, number 2, Mustang Timmy. So 3, 8, 5, 2 are the two from the House Kennel for this upcoming weekend. And then having a look from our team, the Credelli brothers, Damo and Grazer. Graham was said, we're very quiet this week, boys. Mandurah on Friday night is our only play of significance. We're going to look to get it early with race 1, number 8, Emi Nakayama. Not easy to say, but hopefully the caller can get it out first. Coming back from a spell, but has had 3 trials before this run, so will be fit enough. Drawn perfectly in box 8, but can be hit or miss at box rise. So if she gets it right, we'll be in the finish. Trialled Monday night, 6.73, 17.16, which makes this race winnable with luck. If it runs 17.16 there in the first tonight, it'll be chocky time.
Very valuable information, that, Shorty. Like, punters out there, you just don't get that information anywhere else. So thanks to Grazer for providing that.
Indeed. And brother Damien, his thoughts tonight. Here we go. Gentlemen, Mandurah Friday, just the one of significance for tonight. I'm going with race 5, number 7, Shaw Oliver. We've seen a little bit of this dog over the last couple of weeks. Prefers a fence, but with the very little pace in the race, I think he can cross. Last 30 metres will be interesting, but a win wouldn't surprise each way as he's been fighting against the draw as well. Saturday night there at Mandurah, and we've got race 2, number 2, Go Seek Francine, closer to the fence where she wants to be. Should get the sit on them early and will be in the finish each way as there is a couple of handy front runners in the race. That's number 2, Go Seek Francine on a Saturday night at Mandurah. Also race 4, number 1, Tarzan each way. Can't be left out of the novelties. If he jumps, he will give them something to catch, especially if the favourite misses it slightly. Not reliable at box rise, so better to go the old 5 by 15. That's race 4, number 1, Tarzan on a 5 by 15 basis. And rounding it out, race 7, number 2, Sand Cruiser. This is the best from our camp. Small field, the one should lead, and we should be very strong late. I like you. Race 7, number 2, Sand Cruiser, as the best bet from the kennel there from our man Damo on Saturday night. Hopefully we like you as well. Big thanks to Grazer, Damo, Lukey and the Shayne train for their thoughts from the kennel for this upcoming weekend. What do you think of that, Train?
I like you.
Very nice work from you as well. All right, let's see if we can't hit the line and get across to the East Coast and catch up with our man that was seeing them quite nicely last week as well. Jaycin Campbell about to join us.
It's a busy weekend of chasing in New South Wales. Joining the boys to help find you the winners, it's the one and only Jaycin Campbell.
Time now to head across to New South Wales. They've been busy, of course, there overnight with the national representatives being declared. The man that's all over all the action there, Jaycin Campbell, now joins us on the Jet Set. Welcome to you, JC.
Hey, Shorty. Hey, Train. How you going?
Really well, mate. Great to have your company. Just quickly before we get into your tips for this week, big night of chasing there at Wentworth Park last night. What did you make of the performances of the New South Wales representatives that will be going through to represent there, of course, in the staying event there last night? Really, really impressive performance handed in by the Czech runner there in Ritza Piper, and the sprint was taken out by Might Have Been, who showed really good acceleration from box number 7 and never really gave them a sniff.
Yes, well, thank you for jogging my memory, Shorty, because I was out in Auburn enjoying a nice Mediterranean meal with a few friends, so I didn't watch any of those races, and I haven't watched the replays, so I don't really know what happened, to be completely honest with you.
You're quite a highbrow character out there eating Mediterranean meals, JC.
No, that's what I do. So, no, I didn't get to catch those races, but good to hear Ritza Piper went through for Joe Skerry. He's a great trainer here, and he's a very good bloke, and I'm sure she can go well. I don't know if she was in this race last year, but I'm sure she has won a Group 1 down at the Meadows. So good luck to them, and good luck to Minnie Finn with Might Have Been.
Yeah, both impressive performances, as you were last week as well, with your very best landing for the second week in a row with Stop It getting the job done there. Race 9, number 2, taking your tally up to 300 schmackaroonies. You're 50 behind the train.
Get back.
Now, let's see if we can't find a few winners. Your best bets for this Saturday night at Wenny Park?
Yeah, I've got to stop taking the early price because I'm ruining it on the tote for the leaderboard, unfortunately. But anyway, we've got to race 2, first of all. I found this race a really nice one to do the form in, and hopefully we get a nice result here. Number 4, Letizia, I think it's pronounced, for Rob Tyler. She's a lightly raced greyhound. She's won 3 over 10 starts. Her lone Wentworth Park start, she drew box 6. She began really well, but was unable to cross a dog by the name of Toodles Jack. He's a very fast dog here. He's been capable of breaking 550 early and 18 down the back. I think she maps really well here. The Tamora dog for Peter Sims, Hera, looks like it wants to dive back to the rails, and I just don't think there's enough speed outside. Outside that has a bit of speed is the 7-rug Glycerine, but it does want to use a track. So I think Letizia can find the arm here and give us a great sight at probably a nice price.
Race 2, number 4, Letizia, the first of the best bets. Is there a second one there?
Yeah, race 4, number 8, Fascinate Trump, drops back to Masters Company here after contesting some really hot 5th grade races behind the likes of Stop It, Surges Banner and Cade. That has to be the right form for a race of this nature, and he's an absolute lid pinger. We'll concede he hasn't won in 6 starts from box 8. However, I don't think I'd want him drawn anywhere else in a race like this because I think he'll just get a slingshot across this field. There's just not a great deal of speed drawn underneath him other than the striped runner, Extreme Force. But even if that dog was to push up underneath him, I think he's more than capable of seeing outside it and being too strong late.
Okay, so race 2, number 4, race 4, number 8, Fascinate Trump. Is that it for the BBs?
Well, I've got the very best.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll keep
that
your,
now or later on.
No, keep your powder dry on that one.
Beautiful.
I had three best bets on the program, and I don't know what price they're going to be. There's no markets open anywhere, but they're all really good dogs, drawn particularly well. They are all late in the program. Race 7, number 1, Can You Love Me, for Jason Magri, class dog, drawn to be very, very hard to beat. Race 7, number 1. Race 8, number 1's been one of my all-time favourites there at Wentworth Park and loves an inside draw. Probably hasn't been going to his very best of late, Good Odds Cobber, but he'll be very, very hard to beat, and he'll be probably pretty short as well, but I think he'll be winning. If you're looking for something for your quaddies and for your multis, Good Odds Cobber doesn't get rolled too often at Wentworth Park. And race 9, number 2, still available, is another dog that's racing in excellent form at the moment there for Gary Coles. Off the inside marble, I thought it'd be right there in the mix. So 3 for me. Race 7, number 1. It looks like a bit of multi-business. 7-1, Can You Love Me. 8-1, Good Odds Cobber. And 9-2 still available. We'll swing back to you, JC, for your best roughie on the card.
Best roughie, well, just went through it, I think. Letizia, just think the market might really gravitate to the Peter Sims dog. They do normally get really well found. And judging by it only running 7 days ago tomorrow, I'm not sure if I would have seen the track. And to be frank, Mr. Sims hasn't exactly set the world on fire in the last couple of months at Wentworth Park. So I think Letizia could go up a nice price, and hopefully we can snap her up nice and early.
Excellent. Quaddie play for Saturday?
Quaddie, first leg, standing at the 5, a bit of a hint for later on. Leg 2, 1, 4 and 5. Leg 3, 1, 2 and 3. And leg 4, 1 and 2. Just in case Stop It gets right on Good Odds Cobber. He was really good last week, Stop It. So a little bit of insurance there for us, Shorty.
$18 for a full unit of that quaddie there on Saturday night at Wentworth Park. Have you got a rover for us?
I do, and she's a familiar name, and hopefully she can just continue racing week in, week out. Crowded House, race 6, number 4, very evil runner. Found a lot of trouble last week, and not necessarily known for his strength. Sorry, just had a sex change there, but he was able to come from outside of the podium to finish on the podium. I think this race is probably weaker than last week. There's not really any dogs in this race that can go anywhere near 29.80, 29.90. Crowded House is more than capable of doing that. And as mentioned, he only wants to run to the dogs in front of him. So I think once again, probably pick up that $1.60, $1.70 for him to run second or third. Nice.
We'll rove through with Crowded House. Speaking of that, bit of entertaining viewing for you, JC. Watched the last race there from Wentworth Park last night, a field of 3 for the Masters. Exude Lightness was having start number 150. Bought up at 6th win. It was camped on the $1.30 odd pop there and got past, but then waited and then got past again and then waited and then got past again and got up as the outsider in a field of 3 at start number 150, win number 6, 51 placings there. But prior to that evening, it had won 1 of 50, and after watching that race there last night, I can understand why those stats did sit as they did. But if you're not invested on the race, you can have a little bit of a chuckle at that one from last night there, race number 11.
Well, Exude Lightness, she's been in that category for quite some time, and she's had a few reprimands. So I wonder what the stewards do. I kind of feel sorry for those type of dogs because she's probably getting to a point where she probably, by the rules of racing, has to get banned from racing. But she's probably, 6 years old almost. And obviously with the rehoming the way it is, I'm not condoning violence on the racetrack between the animals, but she doesn't really hurt too often because she normally isn't fast enough to actually catch the leader. But unfortunately, she did last night by the sounds of it.
Yeah, I don't think she hurt. I don't think she's, like you say, I don't think she's going swift enough to do any damage. I don't think it's with any malice. I think she just goes out there for a run and a bit of a play, and it is what it is. Righto, JC, time for the very best of the weekend. I think you've given us a bit of a hint in the first leg of the quaddie, potentially.
That's it. Kangaroo Jack, race 5, number 5, having his first crack over the 700 metres. And I absolutely love trainers that step their dogs up in distance, whether it's 400 to a 500, 500 to a 600, 600 to a 700. And the main reason for that, Shorty, is because they can make their own luck on the speed. And I think he'll do that here. He brings really, really strong form lines through that Grafton 660 race a couple starts ago. He only run 3 lengths off She Is Fire. We saw what she did to a very similar field a fortnight ago. She got in front 10 to 15 lengths and obviously was weak late, but she still won by 6 or 7 and it was one of the softest watches of all time. This is how I want all my bets and tips, running straight to the front, put 10 on them and hold on and win by 2. So I think Kangaroo Jack will do that and hopefully clock some time in the process.
Well, good luck, JC. Not too much luck. You're like a little chihuahua nipping at me heels on that very best. So very best of luck with that one, mate.
Might have to do some manipulation and push his price out so I get the mid-tote.
Very well. We go the rules on the Jet Set TAB. So that's the pool that you want to be playing around to make sure you can fatten up if that's how you'd like to go about it. It all creates extra turnover for TABtouch. So we're okay if you want to play that game, JC. No problem at all. Race 5, number 5, Kangaroo Jack for Jaycin Campbel as his very best. He sits on $300 after that 140 jumped in with Stop It last week. He, of course, collected with She Is Fire week 1, so he's aiming up for 3 on the bounce there with Kangaroo Jack. Saturday night, Wentworth Park. Race 5, number 5. That was Mediterranean last night. What was on the menu?
It was, geez, I don't want to say this incorrectly, but we've got a large mashawi, which is 10 skewers, lovely bread, your onion, your pickle, your garlic sauce. You cannot miss garlic sauce. Always order extra garlic, get some chili. What else do we get? Cinnamon tea after, goes down a tree, and then some baklavas from the Turkish little sweet shop around the corner. Lovely strip there in Auburn. Very cheap too. So when you're back a winner or two at Launceston early in the night, you can always go there and eat like an absolute king.
Geez, travelling now, man, JC, Shorty. Absolutely travelling, one out, one back.
Oh, indeed. Hey, and what about this weekend? Anything of note for the weekend coming up for the punters to watch out for?
Betting wise,
no, socially.
Socially,
yeah.
I don't know. I'll probably end up at a food truck somewhere. Sydney's just very well known for food trucks, acai bowls. Not sure if you guys have even heard of that, but they seem to be getting around, and it's just very popular for the kids around my age and in my area. So a lot of the brothers out there want to get out on the Saturday night and show their stuff, I guess, and maybe Bay Vista. It's a very good dessert strip on Brighton Sands. So probably get there on Saturday night.
Very nice indeed. You are. We're living our lives through you. You are, JC. Much more low key for me. But look forward to hearing what you're up to next weekend when we chat next week, and we'll be cheering home all of these greyhounds tomorrow night there at Wentworth Park. Thanks as always for your time, mate.
No worries. Thanks, guys.
All the best, mate.
Another massive evening of metropolitan chasing lies ahead at the Meadows on Saturday night. To dissect the card, here's the man with the Melbourne Mail, Corey Smith.
Time now to head across to Victoria. We've got another big program from the Meadows to look forward to on Saturday night. Corey Smith, he was Mr. Everywhere there last night, hosting the Victorian Greyhound of the Year night, along with working on Sky through the Nationals throughout the course of the night. It was a stellar evening for everyone there at Sandown. Of course, Aunt Virginia proving too good in the Victoria National Distance Final, and in the sprint, Smooth Plane, such a consistent and reliable dog for Tom Daly, proved too good for Orley Bale and Flying Zulu. No doubt a big night. How have you pulled up this morning after all that going on last night there, Corey? Welcome.
G'day, fellas. Yeah, I've pulled up a little bit better than I did from Darwin, I'll put it that way. But no, it was a big night of racing, big night of fun, plenty of worthy recipients of all the awards that we presented last night. And yeah, it's good to be involved with stuff like that because everyone puts in so much hard work to get to the point that they can kind of receive awards at the end of the year. And it's certainly a good recognition for those that managed to get the chocolates.
I tell you what, Corey, you're looking very fresh last night on Old Sky Channel. Had the old Ron Jeremy moustache going. Part of the dream team, you and Patch, I heard. Battler like me's only got a head for radio, so I'll stick to this.
No, I've only got a head for radio as well. That's why they didn't let me go solo. They needed the better-looking man in Patch just to keep the watchers intrigued and involved. But no, a little bit of fun. Got nice and wet last night, a bit of rain. So yeah, it was good fun though, Shayne. And I reckon you and I should do it one time soon.
I hope there's a wide lens. How did my little mate come through from Darwin? I heard he had a little spill there. He had some sore ribs and a busted knee or something. What happened there?
So Patch and I decided that we were going to go for a swim at one point before we went back out. It was probably after midnight at this point, and he slipped over on the tiles and smashed his elbow in his hip. So he was a little bit worse for wear, and I ended up with bruised ankle, and I have no idea how I did it. So probably sums up that we were in a bit of a war of attrition at Darwin for our first time up there.
It's easy game, going for a swim after midnight. The crocodile's there.
No, we actually, it must be nice, but we had a little bit of a pool set up at the apartment building we stayed at. So I know you probably had all your servants just fanning you with banana leaves and things trained, but we just had to go cool down in the pool.
That's nice. That's nice. It sounds like a good spot to be, but minus the slipping and injuries on the way through. Okay, let's. Corey, well done last week too. We were screaming the place down last week. Of course, Elliot came out as a scratching, but that then left you with Colac Kid as your other best bet into play, and it got the job done at $2.60 on SuperTab. So you got 260 on the board now. Train's leading up with 300. We've got, with 350. We've got Jaycin Campbel on 300. You're on 260. And my best beauty in me was most disappointing last week, so I'm the trailer at this stage on $130. But it's still early doors. Let's get into your plays for this weekend. Best bets for the weekend upcoming.
So we've got three best bets, a roughie, a quaddie and a roving banker. So it's a nice full card on what's going to be a ripping night of racing here at the Meadows. I am taking the weekend off, though, which will be nice. I'll have the feet up and I might avoid the frothies. But first bet, best bet of the night, race 4, number 3, Cruising Billy. I've been waiting for this bloke to draw a nice map. Since he resumed, he had about a 4-month spell. And then since then, he's drawn 8, 4, 8 and 5. But tonight he gets a map where most of the speed's drawn wide. I think he'll be able to cross the 2, which is Billy Intention. And he might have a little bit of difficulty crossing the 1, but if he can do that, then I think he'll be in the perfect position as the speed out wide chops each other in half. So Cruising Billy for me, I think he'll be a decent enough price as well. I'm hoping for probably around the $5 mark when markets open, but race 4, number 3, Cruising Billy, the first of my best bets.
Excellent. On to the second of them.
Race 5, number 3. It's purely a map-related selection, this one. It's Royal Gypsy, and I'm not sure I've managed to find Royal Gypsy in any of her 12 wins to date, but she's coming off a 5.04 early and a 29.68 overall performance at Sandown. And Zadie, who's drawn directly on her outside, likes to use a little bit of the track and might be able to hold a few of the wider runners off in the early stages, and with no real speed in boxes 1 and 2, I think we'll be able to clear them. And once we find the front, I think we'll be tough to run down.
5-3 Royal Gypsy, and the third of your best bets?
Race 8, number 4, Follow the Band. Now, this tip is predicated on Hector Fawley coming out of the race. He won last night, and he's drawn in at the Meadows on Saturday night. I don't think he'll run, so I'm going to, in my quaddie and in this tip, I'm going to just say Hector Fawley's not in there. That's the way I'm rolling with it. If he's in there, we're canning this one. But Follow the Band, he's returning to the scene. Obviously, if he's dominant Group 1 victory, really. A couple of starts ago in the maturity. He's dropped back down in company, but it's actually probably been harder racing in free-for-alls and the like the last couple of starts, but he has broken 5 seconds at Sandown and the Meadows, and I think he'll be able to do it again. So he just has to clear Shimmer Steel, who's drawn underneath him, and find the arm. But then I will get a little bit concerned down the back with Mapunga Smokey, who's drawn wide too. So hopefully he can cop a little bit of pressure from Mackinac Peach and put him out of business and out the back of the field, and Follow the Band can just run those dominant splits and get away with it.
Alrighty, so we've got race 4, number 3, race 5, number 3, race 8, number 4. What about the best roughie?
Best roughie comes up in race 11, number 3, with Genesis Bale. Last 2 starts come behind a couple of Greeno trained rockets over the Warrigal 400, and he's facing a few more rockets on the weekend. But I think the map will negatively impact a few of them. In Canyon Nitrate, who has box 4 and on one-turn tracks from wide draws has been unbelievably fast. And Van Wyck, who's drawn the pink, will want to get across as well and is very fast in his own right. Deadly Avenger, the 2, will also use a little bit of the track. So I'm kind of hoping that we just lob in behind them on the rail and they all take each other on in the early stages, and we can kind of punch up on the inside and run a decent race down the back. And I reckon that'll be genuine roughie prices. So I think about the $30 mark is what I'd probably be looking for Genesis Bale, if not longer.
All right, excellent. That's the right price to have a little stab. Race 11, number 3, Genesis Bale. Talk us through your quaddie.
$64 for 100%. And as I said, with the follow the band tip, I'm assuming that Hector Fawley is not going to be going around. So first leg, 2 and 3. Second leg, I've got 1, 4, 6, and 7. Third leg, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then I'm coming home with 4 and 7 in the last.
All righty, 2, 3, 1, 4, 6, 7, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, and 7. You've got a rover for us?
I do, and it's the first race on the night. It's race 1, number 1, TABtouch. We knocked him off a couple of weeks ago with Needful, one of my better bets of the program, but he finds a winnable race here. I think he's a big winning chance, but I also think he's a really nice roving banker style, given he's one of the more consistent greyhounds. At this stage of his career, he started his career up in grade, and it was actually Group 3 place before he'd even broken his maiden. He's only had the 1 win, but he's had about 9 further placings, including a 4th behind last night's South Australia State Final distance winner, Zinfandel Trace. So the form line's all stuck up for me for TABtouch, and I think he'll be running a top 3 cheeky little race for us.
Race 1, number 4, TABtouch. It's the exact same dog I had down as one of my rovers. Career stats, 11 starts, 1 win, 6 seconds, 3 thirds. So 10 of 11. It's been on the podium and 2 runner-up performances there at the Meadows. It looks a wonderful roving banker play. Punters, race 1, number 4, TABtouch. I've also got one deeper into the program from a roving perspective, and it's one you can keep on side heading forward. It's likely to go around at big odds. It runs into a really good field. It's race 10, number 3, Campfire. This dog can really hit the frame, and I thought it's a nice roving banker play later on into the card. Better bets for me, I thought race 9, number 6, Kingsley Bale. It's a race with a fair bit of early pace, but this dog's got a superb record out of box 6. Had the draw 6 occasions for 4 wins and 2 placings, so loves the draw. It's got enough early pace. If you can just get across early, run to that sub 30 seconds, I thought it would take some stopping. Race 9, number 6. And the dog that was your best bet in the end last week in the last remains in box 1. It's probably not going to be crazy flash odds, but I thought Colac Kid could make it 2 on the bounce off that effort last week. Race 12, number 1, Colac Kid. So 9, 6, 12, 1. And from a roving perspective, race 1, number 4, TABtouch. Race 10, number 3, Campfire. They will be my plays for Saturday night there at the Meadows. And that sounds like the very best. Race 4, number 3, we're teaming up there with Cruising Billy is the very best.
Yeah, I think he'll be a bit of value, but I'm happy to go with him. So I'm hoping that the bookies kind of don't realise that he's maybe just been unsuited by the box draws that he's been facing, and hopefully he can find the front and run a really nice race. So, yeah, he's going to be my $100 play for the week.
Well, if it was anything like last week, they'll be a bit scared, the bookies, because there's crunched Call That Kid, and there was an absolute big roar at the Darwin Casino, Shorty, when that dog won.
I bet there was. Straight out, 100 straight out, Corey?
Yeah, I'm just going to go 100 straight out. We'll go for glory. And yeah, there was a few people that had done their ass on the day, on the Saturday, and we were all loading into Call That Kid. So it was a nice little result at the Darwin Casino, that's for sure.
Magnificent. And, the wallet wasn't bruised. Yourself and Patch might have walked away worse for wear, but the wallet was in good order, so that's the main thing and all we can ask for. Tremendous catching up with you, Corey. Appreciate your time as always. Enjoy your low-key weekend upcoming and look forward to our chat again this time next week on the Jet Set.
Thanks, fellas. And just quickly before I leave, there was no need for a stool for Shayne Williams. He was just sitting on the fattest wallet I've ever seen in Darwin. So I reckon he might be having to shout the beers next time we catch up.
Talk next week, Ron.
Good on you, mate. All the best.
It's time to roll out the red carpet and welcome our local industry VIP guest of the week.
Time now for our industry VIP guest of the week, and we're rolling out the red carpet for one of my favourite men in greyhound racing here in WA, Corey White. He's always done a wonderful job, never had a massive team train, but I tell you what, every time you see his dogs at the track, they're very, very well presented, looked after, $1 million, and he's had plenty of nice ones on the way through. Let's welcome him to the Jet Set for this Friday afternoon. G'day, Corey.
Morning, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, good morning, Corey. How are you? No luck last night with Miss Ronnie Mack, mate, but she had a really good preparation leading up to that, didn't she?
She did, mate. Yes, you're spot on. I thought she had a chance in that. She had to just do what she had done at her previous 2 runs leading up, and they were perfect preparation runs for it. but unfortunately, she wasn't boxed well. When I looked at her, I thought, well, Sage Tennille, if she jumps like she can, being the national sprint champion, sorry, she has got legs early when she applies herself. And, Chloe Ant was drawn inside us in the 5, and she managed to use her early speed that she's renowned for as well. And then Booney just swooped down the outside where he was positioned perfectly. So we were caught up in early traffic and put out of the race very early, unfortunately. So, but to be a chance, we had to lead. But nevertheless, congrats to Halsey and the team. They've done a good job with Western Booney and Frida. So, yeah, good luck to them.
Absolutely. Now, Corey, you've been involved in the industry for a significant period of time now. Of course, you've got your kids involved as well that have been a part of the journey. It's been a family show right the way through. But tell us a little bit about how you initially got involved in greyhound racing. What was it that got you into the sport?
To be honest, it was I just fell in love with the breed. Like I initially got one as a pet, and then that eventuated to getting a second one as a pet. This was over 20 years ago when my kids were young, and just the temperament of the greyhound. The second to none when it comes to good nature and good temperament and behaviour around kids. There's never any reports of greyhounds biting humans or kids or anything like that. So, and then you take them down the beach and you watch them chase the seagulls, and I just love how graceful they are when they're in full flight. It's just excellent to watch.
Certainly is, and you've managed some wonderful results. You've had a lot of nice dogs on the way through, and one that's just recently retired, Papa Mono, he'd be up there towards the top of the list when it comes to the dogs that you've trained. Such a versatile and wonderfully durable dog.
Yeah, Shorty, he's still cruising around the kennel, and I'll occasionally let him off and just let him roam the property with the broody and the staffy, and he runs the perimeter, but he goes and stirs the pups up and gets them doing a bit too much. And so he's still here, and like I said, he's going to live out the rest of his retirement because he's been a special dog and just got so much character. Just one of those real special, unique ones that would be too hard to part with, even though they all go off to loving homes. It's just some of them just have that X factor about them that you just can't part with. So, and he's one of them. Yeah,
you've got that special bond with the dog. What about the rest of the kennel? We heard Miss Ronnie Mack at the moment. Are there any other dogs there at the moment that we can watch out for in the upcoming weeks and months that you've got some high hopes for, Corey?
At the moment I've got my kennels are full, but I'm only nominating about 5 to 6 greyhounds at the moment that are actually ready to nominate and race. There's a lot of different stages. There's young pre-trainers, and there's also other older pre-trainers that aren't too far off racing. I've got a couple of hot ones there. When I was educating them when Cannington was still open and using the Campana's break-in facility and my bull ring here, I just thought I'd head down to Mandurah and give them a 300-metre trial, and they broke 17 seconds first look. So,
wow.
Indicated they want further. So they're coming through nicely. I'll just not rushing them, just letting them come of age, and I'll eventually just let them show me when they're ready to race. So, and then there's others that I've got some other young ones from over east. I've taken on a couple for another owner over in Queensland. So they recently arrived, and I've got other race dogs as well that not from WA. They're about to start also. So better things to come. More numbers to nominate soon, but just keep following the kennel and. We should have a bit of luck in the near future.
Sounds like there's some good times ahead. We'll certainly be following as we have for a long period of time now, Corey. And when you get your dogs up and running, they generally maintain their consistency for a very long period of time. Now, that's the easy part done and dusted. You now have to face up to the train. He's got the blowtorch and ready to apply for his questions of the week. Traino, hit it up. Let's see how Corey goes this week.
Corey, are you ready?
Okay. I'm not too sure where this is heading, but...
I've changed a few around this week, Shorty, but when you go to a bar, Corey, what's your drink of choice? I bought you one last night or two. So you're a bit of a mixture, but what's your drink of choice when you walk into a bar?
I've always loved my beer, and over the last few years, when the craft beer has become a bit of a favourite for beer lovers. I do like a good pale ale, like a good craft beer, good pint of cold pale ale.
Beautiful.
That has to be my drink of choice. Yeah.
Favourite holiday destination?
Bali. Only because of the waves. I go there just to surf. I've been there 4 times in the last 7 months or something, so 7 or 8 months. And, I just go for quick surfing trips just to reset because, you can paddle out in board shorts. Over here, you've got to wear a wetsuit every day. But, no, just Bali because of the weather and the waves.
Watch out for the sharks.
Simple as that. Yeah.
Funniest person in our industry?
Beg your pardon?
Who's the funniest person in our industry?
Oh, without a doubt, it'd be Cody Charles. He's just witty when it comes to humour, and like he says himself, he's surprised he's still got his own teeth. Just from his smart ass remarks sometimes, but he gets away with it because he's a good guy.
Yeah, 100%. Best or favourite dog you've trained?
Max Profit.
Beautiful dog. Remember him going to Brisbane, Shorty, for the Nationals?
Absolutely.
Do you have a hall pass?
What was that, sorry?
Do you have a hall pass?
Hall pass?
Yeah.
You got
Celebrity
to,
crush.
You got to explain.
Celebrity crush.
Celebrity crush?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Nothing?
Probably Chad Reed.
Okay. Race you most want to win?
What's that, sorry?
The race you most want to win? Sorry, Corey. Race you most want to win?
Oh, the race I most want to win. Probably the Golden Easter Egg.
Yeah, good race. Good race to win. The biggest win you've had in your career, mate?
Biggest win I've had? I had quite a few feature races, but nothing too prestigious. Like I've always targeted dogs for the Group 1s and 2s, but just max profit again with the state
final
champion.
That
was it. Yeah.
Still a nice race to win.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. It was a good experience.
Hobbies outside of the greyhound racing? You've mentioned a few already. Surfing. I know you're into your motorbikes.
Yeah, motorbikes are all done and dusted now. Too many years of that, and I've suffered too many injuries and carrying too many injuries now. But
don't say running, because I see you running on the street and I can see how much pain you're in. And I'm in pain sitting in the car watching you, so don't say running. I'm not going to cop that as a hobby.
I had to go and pick my van up today because it had the aircon fitted yesterday. So I had to run down there. Ran 10 kilometres this morning just to go and get my van.
He's not lying. He's not lying, punters. I've seen it.
Yeah. No, I did run a marathon on the weekend, just gone up in Perth in the city.
Wow.
For the Perth Running Festival. And done quite a few of them this year. And, the ultra marathon down at Margaret River, the trail running. I just find that running is good to clear the head, because the greyhounds can consume your life when it's 7 days a week, day in, day out. It can wear you pretty thin, especially when you have your hurdles and your obstacles in the way, and things can really get you down. So a good run to clear the head definitely is one of my favourite pastimes.
Yep. Favourite track, Corey? Favourite track? Doesn't have to be in WA.
Well, I recently just went to Wentworth Park, and I loved it there. I got a bit of a buzz there, even though it was a shocking experience. Had a bad result with injury. Not too sure if you remember, but the dog led by 2 or 3 into the first corner, and things went amiss with him, unfortunately. But I did like the track. I liked where it was located, the facilities, and just the vibe you get there. I can only imagine what it would be like on a big night.
It's like a big bull ring, Wentworth Park. It's obviously my hometown. I used to drive the lure there, Corey. You're sitting up 3 stories high, looking down on the track. Looks like a little fishbowl. Yeah, it is a good track. So, yeah, that's a good answer.
Yeah. And when you hear that cable going around, like the old school cable, the dogs are excited to go. They can really hear the lure when it's stir up time. And, that's how we used to operate here in in WA with the cable lures, and that was what you'd hear at stir up time, and everyone would get pretty pumped up for the race, you know.
Yep.
So they've still got that at Wentworth Park, which brings back memories.
Yep. And the very last one, mate. 3 people you would choose in our industry to be stuck on a desert or island with.
In our industry, in WA?
Yep.
How much time have I got to think about this?
The 3 that spring to mind straight away, top of the head stuff.
3 larrikins. You can take me, mate.
3 people in the industry. Like I said the other day, Dave Simonetti has been a legend for our industry. Peter O'Neill, he's been very loyal for as far as his position in the industry goes. He's a great caller, and he's stuck with his passion of race calling and making our racing as vibrant as what it is, which helps. My mate Aaron Brown, he's always willing to lend a hand when it comes to it. Like he knows that I'm battling away here on my own, and always wants to come around and give me a hand and help me at the track and kennel dogs, etc. Those that just put their hand out to offer you a hand when they've got things to do themselves, it's priceless, and I appreciate that sort of stuff. So, yeah, he's another one. Yep. But it's hard to sort of narrow it down to 3 because there are plenty of people that I put in that same basket. But look, there's just a quick 3 that I could say genuine good guys, and they've got nothing else to prove. Yeah,
they're a good free choice, Shorty. Look, thanks very much, Corey, for joining us today. It's been a pleasure. And Shorty, I don't know Corey all that well, but I've got the highest respect for him as a fellow trainer. He's a gentleman, presents his dogs 110%, and wish him all the best in the future.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure having you on, Corey. Thanks so much for joining us on the Jet Set, and continued success with your team.
You're welcome, guys. It's been a pleasure also. Thanks very much.
On the TABtouch Greyhound Jet Set, here are the Darwin tips with Bones Harman.
Time now to welcome in Andrew Bones Harman to have a look at the action for Darwin on Sunday afternoon, fresh off Cup Day there last Sunday. Welcome, Bonesy.
G'day, Train. G'day, Shorty. How are you, lads?
Going beautifully, thanks, mate. Great to have you on board once again for another week. It was former West Aussie Omar Manelli that proved too good for them in the Darwin Cup last week.
Yeah, good win by Omar. I didn't see him running down Flick Your 50, and I don't think anyone really saw that. He really cashed in late. Great win and well-deserved. I did a little bit of research on Omar. He's been up there for a while, but 20 times tracking distance for 18 times top 2. That gives him a fair bit of credit and probably a well-earned cup there for Big Omar. Good win.
Yeah, I think they're still looking for the sniper, Bonesy. Whoever that was that shot Flip Your 50 up the straight. But nonetheless, it was a good win. Still, Bolton's probably one of the leading trainers there. And I think there's a syndicate that own that dog, or footy players or cricket players. Anyway, they went nuts when it won, so I'm pretty sure they would have partied deep into the night, boys.
Absolutely, and we were partying deep into the night. Aaron Keeping running into third spot. That was one of our plays last week. Just used trifectas, first fours. Aaron Keeping to run third or fourth each time it goes round. You'll get plenty. And $131.40 in a small field with Aaron Keeping filling third was a juicy result in a field of just 5 runners. We'll take that all night long. Had that for plenty of units. So keep going, Aaron Keeping. Now, getting deep into its racing career, that was start number 130 there last week, but keeps on looking after the punters, so we'll keep getting around it. Righto, Bonesy, let's roll up the sleeves and get down to business. Who do we like to make a few bucks out of this program on Sunday afternoon?
Alrighty, lads. I've got 4 for you. And before that, we've got Omar Manelli in race 1. It jumps fresh out of the cup into a mixed 3-4, 3-1-2. So we'll steer clear of that race. He'll probably jump pretty short. No idea how the grading or anything like that works up there, but that's a little bit interesting. We'll go next to race 2, number 5, Enigma Rose. She took about 30 starts to win her maiden, but since then's won 3 of 11. Seems to have sort of put things together a little bit. She's been jumping well over longer trips. Jumps right back down to a pretty basic grade of 3-1-2 there. And I think she'll jump to the lead, and I think she'll win. Race 4, number 8, we'll go with Zipping Digby over the longer trip. He's certainly got the best credentials, this dog. He will want to crush across the fence, but Kelmar Soxy should beat it out and carve across and give him a fair bit of room over there. If he's got a few lengths on these, and realistically, if he's anywhere near them, let alone in front, he'll run them all down. So 4-8, Zipping Digby. We'll move on to race 5, number 8, Not Bad Yourself. A little bit of a spec play on the grade drop here for Not Bad Yourself. Hasn't been up in town all too long, but hoping he will get his own way against a pretty moderate field and cross them and lead. And then we'll finish off with race 7, number 5, Topology Man. Another newish dog. He drops out of an open class of 383s into a 312. He goes the other way. Drops out of open 312s up to a 383 for the first look. He's put together some decent efforts, likely leads again, and I'm pretty happy to go with race 7, number 5, Topology Man.
Yeah, it came from a middle draw when winning 2 starts ago there over the 312 metres and did it in pretty good style. Had no luck last time out, but that prior run would certainly suggest that Topology Man is capable of running a good race there. In recap, race 2, number 5, Enigma Rose, race 4, number 8, Zipping Digby, race 5, number 8, Not Bad Yourself, and race 7, number 5, Topology Man. What about the footy boys this weekend, Bonesy? Shout out for the crew. How are they tracking, aiming up towards the finals?
Yeah, jumped another spot, I think, on the table up to 3rd this week. We take on Scarborough, who are fighting it hard at the bottom end of the ladder, but they're a very dangerous side. So got to have plenty of respect heading up to Scarborough this weekend. Excellent.
Well, I hope the footy goes well, and we'll be cheering super hard for those 4 runners there at Wentworth Park on Sunday afternoon. Appreciate your time as always, Bones. Good punting.
Thanks, lads. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks, mate.
Warm up the scraps and pop some bread in the toaster. Here are the leftovers.
Okay, Train, time now to round it out with leftovers and our very best for the weekend. Leftovers, anything there?
One left over for me, Shorty, tonight. Geelong, race 7, number 5, Scotland Yard, dog trained by Angela Langton. It's stepping up to the 460 for the second time. It'd been racing 400 metres, and last week it stepped up to the 460, led, and just got pipped on the post. I think it'll be a bit fitter tonight, Shorty. Straight to the front, race 7, number 5, Scotland Yard.
The old Bill, Scotland Yard, race 7, number 5 there at Geelong this evening. I haven't had a time enough to have a real proper look. I've been flat out doing all the form for the different meetings locally as well as interstate. We're getting close to the spring. I'll start rolling up the sleeves and getting right into some horse form as we get closer to spring and bring them to the table in the upcoming weeks.
Time to get down to business. Here are the team's very best bets of the weekend.
Time for the very best of the weekend. So, Train's on top at the moment on 350. He got last week 160 out of Hinto, and then last week max capacity he got 190 out of, $1.90 on Super Tab. So he's on 350. $300 Jaycin Campbell. He has she is fire week 1, stop at week 2. 140 jumped in there, so he's on 300. And last week the result came through for Corey. He had 100 to win. Colac Kid race 2, number 3, the Meadows. $2.60, so $2.60 for him, and I missed out last week with Beauty and Me. Thought it would lead. It had led at 8 of its prior 10, and it missed the start by 4 lengths. That made it pretty difficult to win, so I'm stranded there on 130, but we'll look to turn that around this week with a multi. So we've had so far Jaycin Campbell, Wentworth Park, race 5, number 5, Kangaroo Jack, and at the Meadows, Corey Smith, race 4, number 3, Cruising Billy, as the very best. Train, across to you for your key play for your very best this week.
Yeah, well, tomorrow night, Shorty, at Mandurah, I think Malfetta Cruz is going to be probably skate into silly odds. I think he could even end up 130. I'm hoping for like 160, 180. So I'm going to be a bit, flexy this week. I'm going to be a bit funky.
Funky?
Yeah, I'm going to have a 2-leg all up. So they're both tomorrow night, Shorty. Mandurah, race 5, number 1, Hurricane Taylor, a place. into race 6, number 2, Malfetta Cruiser win for my $100 play. Versatile was the word I was looking for, versatile.
Yeah, okay, that's good. And I don't mind that play. Race 5, number 1, Hurricane Taylor, the place off the good draw. Race 6, number 2, Malfetta Cruise, the win. Looks very hard to beat. For me, I am starting it off tonight there at Mandurah. Race 10, number 1, Long Johnny, the place. It's a race with some good quality greyhounds, but Long Johnny has just been hitting the frame for fun in recent times, and from the good draw, I don't think it'll miss a hole. Race 10, number 1. Rolling that into Saturday night, Mandurah, race 2, number 1, Hollywood Miss. I think it'll win, but just for the sake of a bit of insurance, I'll take it the place, and then I'll roll that into race 6, number 2, Malfetta Cruise, who, as we touched on, recent form's been exceptional. I think those 3 will all arrive. So Mandurah Friday, 10-1, Long Johnny, the place. Mandurah Saturday, 2-1, Hollywood Miss, the place. Mandurah 6-2, Malfetta Cruise, the win. My very best for this week. Train, any shout-outs to finish up the show today?
Yeah, I've got a couple, Shorty. Just want to thank Chrissy and Jack, who were my crew in Darwin. Really looked after me, had a good time. Hope Chrissy gets on the mend soon. She's going to need that liver transplant very shortly. The way she drinks, she's an absolute machine. And just to a local jockey of ours, Shorty, if anyone that didn't watch races yesterday at Northam, go back and watch race 7. The winner was Watch Me Rock, ridden by Chanel Cooper. 3 kilo apprentice, Shorty. Had it in the 1-1. Horse laid in, she switched hands with a whip. For a 3 kilo kid to do that and get it home, I thought it was outstanding. She's going places. She's had some very good help along the way, her jockey coaches and Grant Nalana. I think she's going to be one of our next superstar jockeys. Well done, Chanel, on that ride yesterday.
Yeah, good job, CC. Well done. Great to see Donga O'Donnell back out there riding winners as well. He'd been on the sidelines for a significant period, so great to see him back. And I just want to send a shout out to our Australian athletes. Gee, they've made us proud over the last fortnight. The Olympics comes to a close this weekend, but if you're out there and you haven't beamed with pride over the last fortnight, check your pulse. You're not Aussie. It's been huge, and you can't help but be proud of everything that's been achieved across there from the mighty green and gold over the last couple of weeks.
Don't the Olympics bring us all together, Shorty? The spirit and, the camaraderie that everyone does. And, I totally concur with that one. It's outstanding. 18 golds. Did we get any overnight? I don't know.
There were 2 bronze and 2 silver overnight.
Yeah, so 18 gold from our small nation. Well done. Give yourselves a pat on the back.
Yeah, go the Opals too. It's tough tonight against the USA, but even if they miss there, I'll be cheering hard for them to come home with a bronze in that playoff game. So good luck to the Opals, and we'll round it out. Hopefully this can put a smile on your face heading into the weekend. 2 men of questionable intelligence flew to Canada on a hunting trip. They chartered a small plane to take them into the Rockies for a week hunting moose. They managed to bag 6. As they were landing the plane to return, the pilot said the plane could only take 4 moose. The 2 lads objected strongly. Last year we shot 6. The pilot let us take them all, and he had the same plane as yours. Reluctantly, the pilot gave in, and all 6 were loaded. The plane took off. However, while attempting to cross some mountains, even on full power, the little plane couldn't handle the load, and down it went. Somehow, surrounded by the moose bodies, only the 2 men of questionable intelligence survived the crash. After climbing out of the wreckage, Frank said to Bill, "Bill, any idea where we are?" Frank replied, "I think we're pretty close to where we crashed the plane last year." There you go. That'll do us for this week here on the TABtouch Greyhound Jet Set. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Go and fill up those TABtouch accounts. Do it responsibly. We'll catch you again this time next week for the Greyhound Jet Set. Tell your friends all about the podcast. Happy to extend the community and get plenty of people on board. Look forward to having you aboard our Jet Set podcast again next week. Good luck, punters.
Thank you for joining us for this week's edition of the TABtouch Greyhound Jet Set. Be sure to share and retweet the show to help grow our community. Into 'em, punters.